So I guess to begin with, how did you feel when you first started at Baylor?
Grateful and also terrified. Yeah, it was a big new world moving to Houston, Texas for sure. I think a lot of people can relate to that. But I was grateful that Baylor actually picked me. It was definitely my first choice, actually, going into the interviews or leaving all of my interviews. I said, please, I would really like to be at Baylor. Mostly because I wanted to be in Houston with the opportunities here. And it was good. And it really was the perfect match, too. So, but it's nervous. It's a big city. Giant metroplex area. Am I going to be able to find myself and not get lost as a number in a crowd? Am I going to actually be able to navigate Houston traffic? And the answer to that last question is no, but everything else worked out. So
I guess the money question we all want to know, how did you get through medical school? What's the secret?
Secret? If you know a secret, please tell me, because maybe it applies to residency too. Like genuinely and truly, you have to make yourself and you have to find ways to be human within the stress of med school. I think is the only way to survive. Yeah, take that one. You can write that one down. You can take that one to the bank. I think medicine in particular asks a lot of us as individuals with our own lack of work-life balance sometimes. So if you don't inject your own humanity into everything you do, I think here in school, you turn into a little sketchy micro robot who's so focused on getting an honors grade in infectious disease that you forget to go outside and enjoy the park on a Friday.
Yeah, it can be really hard. What do you think is the most important thing you learned throughout your 4 years?
The most important thing I learned, because I learned more about who I am in tough spaces. I learned more about the type of physician I want to be. I certainly gained an understanding for how the healthcare system works and the ways that it does affect and also disenfranchises communities and populations and patients and the person I want to be inside of that system to counteract that. I learned why I love emergency medicine so much and how I really don't see myself going into any other specialty now. I think I learned, most importantly, that I want to be an educator. I also want to be a practicing physician. So I'm going to seek out career opportunities for myself. And I gained all of the knowledge and skills and the attitude to make all of that happen, specifically serving as an ally for underrepresented communities that are oftentimes left or beaten down by the system.
What's something you would want to tell your MS1 self if you could go back?
Budget your time better. Maybe say yes to a few fewer items on the list of possible things to be done. I think that I did a good job remaining human and focusing out and finding new exciting opportunities and finding myself inside of different spaces. But I could have done a little better on step 2, to be honest.
What are you going to miss most about Baylor?
Wow. So many things. I think obviously the people but I'm trying not to be cliche. And that's like the cliche 2-word answer at least. But when I say the people, I think it's that everybody here is genuinely invested in being and forming physicians who are absolutely as successful as possible. And so not even like having to necessarily seek out resources sometimes, but having them thrown at you, right? Everybody really is here to genuinely uplift and support each other into being as successful as possible.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been here as long, but I can definitely say that's so true.
You feel it?
I do.
You feel the support I have for you?
I do.
Great. Okay.
I feel it.
Even when I'm in San Francisco. Good. Even when I'm in San Francisco, I'm behind you. Go, Paola, go.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years, given that 4 years will be my emergency medicine residency. The 5th year, I hopefully see myself either finishing up a med ed fellowship in a university center where I want to be on faculty, or if I don't need the fellowship because I have the Master's of Education, either certainly as a young faculty at a new university academic position in the emergency room, but then potentially working my way into being an assistant clerkship director for the equivalent of D- and social determinants classes, wherever I am, for sure.
Cool. So I'm assuming that the rest of the graduating class is going to see this, so what message would you like to share with the rest of the 2023 class?
I love you all. Mwah. First of all, we are prepared. I think a lot of us have fought a lot of imposter syndrome, A, to get here, B, to get through this together, and C, we're going to find it again wherever we end up. And I think remembering the community we built here and continuing the culture of uplifting and supporting one another that we already found here, wherever we end up, whether or not it's present there or not, and building that if it isn't. I think we can take more than just our medical knowledge from here. We can definitely take a lot of the lessons we've learned from each other and the culture and apply that to wherever we end up for sure. And I love them. And they need to know that because I love them a lot. And they should text me. I'll give them all my number. They just ask for it.
Okay, well, that's all I have for you. Thank you so much, Ben. I learned so much from you. I'm gonna miss you.
Can I have a hug?
Of course.
Mwah.
Oh, I know I should have first.
I love you.